What's going on, folks? Hope you're having a wonderful night or day. Welcome back to some more Quinfall. I just got home from running errands. I wasn't intending to make a video about this yesterday, but I'm glad that I waited. Today I wanted to talk about two recent announcements the team posted regarding the server issues and what they've been working on to resolve them. Recently, they went ahead and introduced server queues into the game. However, after they did so, the game was very unstable. There was a lot of lag going on, so they had to continue working on the back end. What they did yesterday was introduce a new server for each region, but they said that they're going to merge them back once the server issues have been resolved. And what they said in the first announcement yesterday was, first and foremost, we'd like to address the server queue issues that many of you have been eagerly waiting for updates on and at times found frustrating. Our team has been working tirelessly to resolve this matter, and after carefully considering your feedback, we are excited to announce that later today we will activate 3 new servers, which is what we just mentioned, and they said that this is a major step forward towards alleviating access issues and ensuring a more enjoyable experience for all the players. In addition, they believe it's time to provide a more comprehensive explanation regarding other issues and challenges they've faced since launch. Despite working alongside a reputable cybersecurity firm, they've encountered large-scale DDoS attacks since the game's release. These attacks have significantly impacted the systems and performances, disrupting the experience for the players. Their primary focus has been to analyze these issues thoroughly and determine the extent of which they can stabilize and safeguard their systems. This has required an extensive collaboration with their security team, which is why they refrained from making a detailed statement until now. However, in this case, I think there were things that could have been better about the communication. There was quite a few posts going out in Discord. There was posts going out in the announcement channel. There was posts going out in the Quinfall discussions channel. However, I think only one of them was actually pinned in the Quinfall discussion channel, and I noticed throughout the days because of it that there were a lot of people that were under the impression that the developers weren't communicating, which this just wasn't true. We had communication from the mods, we had communications from the developers themselves and the community manager, so they were actually trying to keep us up to date to the best of their ability while this was happening. People were also starting to suspect that a DDoS was what was going on. Granted, I don't believe the game is ready to handle a large amount of people, even if the servers are fully stable. I think we did have a couple of issues in CBT2, but it wasn't ever this bad, so I do think a lot of it is because of that DDoS attack. The post continues stating that they're committed to a long-term improvement process. They recognize that there's a long road ahead in addressing current issues and implementing improvements based on the feedback. While it is a source of pride for them to have such a large player base, they also acknowledge that as a smaller game studios, there have been moments where they struggled to meet the high demand on time. For these shortcomings, they sincerely apologize to the entire community. The future steps are resolving the server issues, which includes the addition of 3 new servers, basically 1 per region, like I mentioned before, and furthermore, they're planning capacity upgrades for all servers. Enhancing cybersecurity, their security team, in collaboration with a cybersecurity firm, continues to implement stronger measures to counteract DDoS attacks. Improving communication, they're committed to maintaining more frequent and transparent communication with us. They want to keep us informed of any updates, issues, or progress related to resolving the ongoing challenges. Compensation gifts. Once all the issues have been resolved, they'll express gratitude for the patience and support by distributing compensation gifts to all the players. They're confident that we'll overcome the challenging period together, and that our support and understanding continue to inspire them as they work to elevate Quinfall to the level it desires. So overall, very solid post. They took accountability, they explained the situation, they said what they were going to do to move forward, and that they were going to compensate us for the issues. These things do happen in early access games. Not trying to completely justify that it happened, but I've been in MMO launches where you'd wait 6 to 12 hours in a server queue, get kicked out of it, and then have to wait another 6 to 12 hours, and it'd take maybe a week or 2 before it even stabilized. Arcade being one, Blade and Soul being another, etc., etc. So I'm willing to cut them slack on this. The servers are starting to stabilize. I think EU is still getting the brunt of this issue and experiencing problems over there, but as for NA, it seems to be doing better than it was at least. The second update, which came earlier today, was a transparency update by the development team. It says, "Dear Quinfall community, first and foremost, we acknowledge the server issue and the attacks that have impacted your gaming experience. Since launch, ongoing attacks and technical limitations have forced them to restrict the number of servers and reduce their capacity. While this decision was made to ensure that as many players as possible could access the game with minimal disruption, they understand that many of us have experienced long queue times and server instability. To address these issues, they've been actively working on adding new servers and optimizing server capacity. Once these improvements are complete, they'll transition to higher capacity servers and merge certain servers where necessary. This will create a more stable and balanced environment for everyone. However, given the technical complexity of this process, they need to implement these changes gradually and carefully. At this time, they want to be transparent that server-related issues have not yet been fully resolved, and periodic server restarts may still be required. We've been experiencing those throughout the day as well. They say they truly appreciate the patience and support. Once they have overcome these challenges, they'll express their gratitude by providing compensation rewards and hosting special events, same thing they mentioned before. Their ultimate goal is to ensure that once these issues are resolved, everyone can enjoy a smoother and more enjoyable experience for Quinfall. They're committing to maintaining open communication and keeping us informed throughout the process. Thank you all for your understanding and continued support." Now, all things considered, considered, I think they handled the situation in a decent way, probably the best way they could with a small development team. I know there have been development teams in the past, like I remember somebody mentioned in Discord that Classic World of Warcraft had like 40 developers when it first came out, like in vanilla in 2003 or so, but not all situations are the same. People are more experienced at DDoS attacks now, I would imagine, than they were back in 2003, so I think that's something to also take into consideration. They also said that they were working with the reputable cybersecurity team, so if that's true, then they were attacked despite that. I think overall, people are warranted and completely within their right to not be accepting of issues like this on early access releases or full releases. But from my point of view, I think one of the reasons this game did get hit hard review-wise and people were obligated to refund it alongside the other issues with the game, and I'm not saying it's in a perfect state, it needs a lot of polish in multiple areas, is on the Steam side, because you only have 2 hours minimum. I mean, sometimes if you explain the issue and let's say you go to 4 to 6 hours, I've had several refunds before where I've explained that I was in a server queue or you know, I couldn't play the game for the first 5 or 6 hours or so, and they still gave me the refund. But I believe that's probably the crux of the issue there, because with server issues like this, I think some people did believe that the developers were intentionally creating these server issues to try to get you to stay for 2 hours so that you wouldn't be able to refund the game. But I think Steam should implement a refund timer based on the type of game it is. Let's say everything was working perfectly fine. 2 hours isn't really enough time to get a good grasp of an MMORPG in the slightest. I think at the very least it should be 24 to 48 hours for an MMORPG, and then remain 2 hours or maybe updated to 4 hours for most of the other categories, unless the game literally takes 1 to 2 hours to beat. But that's my thoughts on the situation so far. I just wanted to make sure to bring awareness to this. Please let me know what you thought about this in the comments below. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. Peace out.